Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we re-diving deep into one of the most beloved and enduring fairy tales of all time, Cinderella. You probably know the story of the glass slipper, the pumpkin carriage, and the handsome prince, but have you ever wondered where this magical tale comes from and why it continues to capture our hearts? Generation after generation, the story of Cinderella, in one form or another, is ancient. One of the earliest known versions dates back to 9th century China, with a story called the Xian. In this tale, a young girl, mistreated by her stepmother, is helped by a magical fish instead of a glass slipper. It's a golden slipper that leads a king to find her. From there, the story traveled across the globe, with hundreds of variations appearing in different cultures, from Italy's Cinderella in the 17th century to the famous version by the Brothers Grimm in Germany. However, the one we're most familiar with today was popularized by French author Charles Perrault in 1697. He is the one who introduced key elements like the pumpkin, the fairy godmother, and those iconic glass slippers. Let's revisit the characters who make this story so unforgettable. At the heart of it all is Cinderella herself. She's the embodiment of kindness, grace, and resilience. Despite living a life of servitude, forced to cook and clean for her cruel stepfamily, she never loses her gentle spirit or her capacity to dream. She represents the idea that true beauty comes from within. Then we have the villains of the piece, the wicked stepmother and her two vain stepsisters. They are driven by jealousy and spite, unable to stand Cinderella's goodness and beauty. Their cruelty serves to highlight Cinderella's own virtues and sets the stage for the classic struggle between good and evil. They are the obstacles she must overcome, making her eventual triumph all the more satisfying. Of course, what's a good fairy tale without a little magic? Enter the Fairy Godmother. She is the magical helper, the catalyst for change, who appears when Cinderella is at her lowest point. With a wave of her wand, she provides not just a beautiful gown and a carriage, but something far more important: an opportunity. The Fairy Godmother symbolizes hope and the idea that help can come from unexpected places when we need it most. And finally, we have the prince. While he may seem like a simple love interest, he represents a new life for Cinderella, a life of love, respect, and happiness, far away from the cinders and ashes of her past. His kingdom-wide search for the owner of the glass slipper shows his determination to find the mysterious woman who captured his heart. Now, let's walk through the enchanting plot. Cinderella's story begins with loss and hardship. After her beloved mother passes away, her father remarries a woman with two daughters of her own. When her father also dies, Cinderella's life turns into one of drudgery. She is treated no better than a servant in her own home, while her stepsisters are spoiled and doted upon. One day, an invitation arrives from the palace. A royal ball is being held for the prince, who is looking for a bride. The stepsisters are ecstatic, while Cinderella is told she cannot go. Heartbroken, she is left behind as her stepfamily departs for the ball. As she weeps in the garden, her fairy godmother appears. In a swirl of magic, a pumpkin becomes a grand carriage, mice turn into horses, and Cinderella's rags are transformed into a breathtaking ball gown, complete with a delicate pair of glass slippers. But there's a catch. The magic will only last until the stroke of midnight. At the ball, everyone is captivated by the mysterious and beautiful princess. The prince is utterly enchanted and dances with her all night. But as the clock begins to strike 12, Cinderella remembers the warning and flees, leaving behind a single glass slipper on the palace steps in her haste. The prince, determined to find her, launches a search across the entire kingdom. He vows to marry the woman whose foot fits the tiny glass slipper. The slipper is tried on every eligible maiden, including the desperate stepsisters who try in vain to squeeze their feet into it. Just when it seems all hope is lost, Cinderella is given a chance to try. The slipper fits perfectly. In that moment, her true identity is revealed, and her stepfamily is left in shock. Cinderella marries the prince, and they live happily ever after. Beyond the magical transformation and royal romance, the story of Cinderella is rich with moral lessons and values. The most prominent theme is that kindness and patience are ultimately rewarded. Despite the cruelty she endures, Cinderella remains good-hearted, and in the end, her virtue leads to her happiness. This teaches us that our inner character is far more important than our outward circumstances. The story is also a classic tale of good triumphing over evil. The stepmother and stepsisters, with all their greed and jealousy, end up with nothing, while Cinderella, the humble servant, rises to become a princess. It's a powerful message that injustice and cruelty will not prevail in the long run. Furthermore, Cinderella's story is a testament to the power of hope. Even in her darkest moments, she holds on to a glimmer of hope for a better future. The fairy godmother's arrival isn't just random magic. It's a reward for Cinderella's unwavering faith and resilience. It encourages us to believe in the possibility of a brighter tomorrow, even when things seem bleak. The cultural impact of Cinderella is immense and truly global. As we mentioned earlier, variations of the persecuted heroine archetype exist in countless cultures. There's the Russian Vasilia, the beautiful, who is helped by a magical doll, and the Egyptian story of Rhodopis, where a falcon snatches her slipper and drops it in the pharaoh's lap. These stories, while different in their details, all share the core themes of virtue rewarded and the underdog's triumph. This timeless narrative has been a constant source of inspiration for literature, theater, and especially film. Think of all the movie adaptations, from Disney's iconic 1950 animated classic to modern live-action retellings, like Ever After and the 2015 Cinderella. Each version reinterprets the story for a new generation, sometimes giving Cinderella more agency or a more modern perspective. But the fundamental appeal remains the same. The term Cinderella story has even entered our everyday language to describe any situation where someone achieves unexpected success after a period of obscurity and hardship. So, why does Cinderella's story continue to resonate so deeply with us after all these centuries? I believe it's because it speaks to a fundamental human desire for justice, hope, and transformation. It is a story that assures us that our circumstances do undefine us and that inner goodness will eventually shine through. Cinderella's journey from the hearth to the palace is a powerful metaphor for overcoming adversity and finding our own happily ever after, whatever that may be. The key takeaways are timeless. Be kind, be resilient, and never stop believing in the possibility of a little magic in your life. It's a reminder that even when faced with maintaining your integrity and hope is a strength that can lead to incredible things. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey into the magical world of Cinderella. What's your favorite version of the story? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you and miss our next deep dive into a classic tale. Until next time, stay curious and keep dreaming.